But ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to Amelia.
Okay, so I have always really hated being alone. And until I was about 8, I would sit awake in bed at night just repeating my mom's name out loud over and over again to myself, just because it calmed me down. And when I would finally go to sleep, I would make sure to put each of my stuffed animals around my body so that they were all touching me, so that nobody could get lost or afraid in the night and that we could all be together. And when I was 15, me and my friend Georgia decided that it would be a great idea to visit a Buddhist temple. And we had learned about Buddhism in school, and we were genuinely really interested. And so we found one in our neighborhood, and we headed over. And on our way, I had built up this whole idea of this amazing, ornate temple, and I was going to walk in and just feel instantly connected to the community there. And I was going to spend my afternoons there and the long weekends, and it was really going to be great. And so we're walking down the block, and I suddenly realized that it's just another one of these houses on this row of brownstones. And we get to the door, and we ring the doorbell, and somebody's coming, and anticipation is building up. And the guy who opens it is a solid 8 inches shorter than me, and his name is Jeremy, and he's just wearing like a plain t-shirt. But he invites us in, and he tells us to just come into the room where the service is happening whenever we're ready. So we walk in, and this room is slightly more picturesque. There's a little garden in the back, but most importantly, there are 2 monks there. And this is what I'm most excited about, because they are going to be my new best friends, and we're just going to talk about everything together. I cannot wait. But they're chanting, and so we just kind of fake it and join in and act like we know what's happening. And about a half hour later, Jeremy makes an announcement. And it's that we are about to begin our next 2 hours of silent meditation. And he pulls me and Georgia aside, and he asks us, have we ever meditated before? And we say yes in yoga class. And he looks slightly annoyed, but Jeremy is the type of guy where it's painful when he talks. So it's really not all that frightening. But we go back and we begin to meditate. And again, I'm getting into it. It's calming. It's relaxing. And then again, maybe 45 minutes later, Jeremy makes a second announcement. And that is that we are going to have our private meetings with the monk to discuss our practice. And his eyes kind of flicker at me for a second. And I suddenly realized that maybe wasn't the best choice for 2 15-year-old girls with absolutely no experience in this religion to come to this temple. But I'm the second person out of the group of people there to go up and talk to the monk. And so I'm going up these dark, narrow stairs in this old brownstone. And I realize that the room that he is sitting in is beautiful, and it's lit up with all of these little bright statues, and it just looks amazing. So I sit down and I bow, and he asks me just the standard questions that you would ask any teenager, just like, what school do you go to? How old are you? What's your name? And eventually he asks me why I came there. And I say, well, I learned about Buddhism in school and I was interested, and look, I'm really not sure, I don't know. And he says, well, what do you want to learn here? And I try to sound as profound as possible. And so I say, I'm just here to learn what it is that I want to learn. And he's obviously not buying it because it's just the cheesiest possible thing I could have said. And he continues with just a series of more profound questions. And eventually he asks me, Amelia, how did you come into this world? And I'm a little bit confused, but I say, well, I was born on September 15th at Mount Sinai, 1999. And he looks like he wants to chuckle, but he won't because he has his thing going in. And he says, no, how did you come into this world? And I answer as I have been answering every single one of his questions, which is, I don't know, look, I'm really not sure, I don't understand. And he says, Amelia, you came into this world by yourself. And here's the thing, I have 2 parents and a sister and 2 cats, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not alone. And he continues, and he says, well, Amelia, no matter what relationships you make here, no matter what people you meet with your friends or with your family, all of those relationships will end. People will die, they will move away, and you will be by yourself. And I'm a huge atheist, so I'm not really used to having deep spiritual conversations, at least not with religious figures, so this is starting to freak me out. And he continues on. He says, and that is why, Amelia, you need to figure out what it is that makes you happy, what it is that you are passionate about. That is what will make you succeed in life. That is what you need to do on your own because you are just alone here. And there's something a little bit unsettling about a monk telling you just how alone you are in the world. But I go back downstairs, and later on when I'm sitting in my room, I start thinking about all of my stuffed animals. And today they all sit in this big plastic bin in the back of my closet. And even though all of them have left me and have moved on, they will always be in the back of my world somewhere.